Hello everyone, Carlos Flores back on basics. I wanted to talk to you about a balance, right? As you go from day to day in your life and you're trying to balance, I wanted to kind of give you my perspective as to how you can actually balance your mind and your body. And one of the reasons that from time to time, for most of the time, I'm pretty balanced from day to day. It's because I learned something from my grandfather. One of the things that I learned from him is the fact that you just don't work the mind, but you also work the body, right? So for my grandfather, just working the body was walking miles, planting, harvesting, cutting down crops, building things, fixing things. I mean, he was always doing something with the body, something physical. And so, but at the same time, he would always use his mind. I mean, he would always think of new ways of, maximizing his crops. He would always think of new ways of dealing with something that may have been, needing fix or needing adaptation. And so he would balance his body and mind. And that's one of the reasons why, and I think I've said this in a previous video, that's one of the reasons why I like the fact that we as human beings need to always go back to basics, so that way we can feel grounded, so that we can feel like we're getting a fresh start, or we're getting the capabilities to do what we need to do to complete the goals that we need to complete. Like for example, with me right now, right? I'm using my mind, so that way I come up with topics, and this is probably either the 9th or the 10th day that I'm doing a topic, that I'm doing a YouTube video, and I'm doing it because I like doing it. I love doing it. I've said it in other videos, and so, but at the same time, it's not just the mind that needs to be worked, and so, most of the time, my wife and I go walking, or I go walking, we go hiking, we work on our garden, the front or in the back on the plants. We do a lot of different things that just helps the body just stay at the same sharpness that the mind is. And so it's always a combination. And so whenever you think about, okay, I need to be smarter, then what you really need to be thinking is, how can I optimize both my mind and my body? How can I just be able to optimize both? This way I'll be able to do things that I haven't done before. You'll be able to, adapt to situations that before you haven't been able to adapt to. You'll be able to deal with a lot more stress. And I mean, by dealing is, if stress comes, you'll be able to kind of look at it from different perspectives and say, this is not worth me worrying about it. But again, it's a perspective that I've had for the longest time. Again, I love walking. We started hiking just recently. I love working on cars. Anything that is physical. Like sometimes I even get up in the morning, excuse me, and I just get up and wash the dishes, or take out water and water the plants. I mean, anything to get me going physically, because for me, that also helps me going mentally. And so a lot of times it's an interaction between the mind and the body. It's kind of like cognitive behavioral, and that's one of the things, psychology. Psychology is one of my favorite topics. And so with cognitive behavioral psychology is if you think it, you do it. If you do it, you think it. And so it's one of my favorite topics that I love to talk about because it's the interaction between the mind and the body. And there's a lot of research out there that talks about how the brain works and how the brain can help the body stay young and vice versa, how the body works and how the body can actually keep the brain young as well. And so, there's so many different research on types of exercises. There's so much out there. Exercises, diets, things to read, things to explore, new adventures that will create new connections in your brain in terms of memory. There's so many different things that you want to look at. So with me, what I would recommend is find the thing that works for you. Find the thing that works for you physically. Find the thing that works for you mentally, right? For me, I like puzzles. I love to do those because I love to find different ways of looking at it, putting it together. Rubik's cubes, remember those things that you twist around, that cube that you twist around until you get at least one of the sides with all colors. That's something that stimulates the mind. For the longest time, a few years ago, remember people were doing Sudokus, and people are still doing that because it just stimulates the mind. There's other ways that you can actually have a mind-body kind of like cooperation, and some people recommend meditation. I mean, being in a meditative state can actually help you a lot. It helps you not only figure things out, it helps you center yourself. It helps you reduce stress because a slight variation of meditation is actually deep breathing exercises that, as a therapist, I used to help people with before. How to breathe in, how to breathe out, how to do kind of like a guided breathing exercise. And so if you switch it slightly, then it becomes meditation, right? When you're by yourself, when you're trying to figure things out, and you're in your mind, and you're watching things and you're letting them go, and you're watching things and you're letting them go. And so there are so many different ways to do that, to kind of balance the mind and the body. Some of my videos are actually things that I have done to help you with the mind and body kind of balance. Some of the videos are actually not videos, but they're actually more like audios with a picture there, a very tranquil picture, and then it's like rain or waterfall, heavy rain, bells, or maybe a wind chime, nature. So check out my YouTube channel, Back on Basics, because there are some things that you can put on a loop. You can let that go and let it run. So that way you'll be able to kind of calm the mind and calm the body at the same time. It's kind of like getting to a point where where you're balanced and you're getting a synchronous, right? You're getting something that's going back and forth between what you're thinking, you're doing, and what you're doing is thinking, which again goes back to cognitive psychology, one of my favorite topics. And so try different things out. There's free apps that has music, has very serene music. There's apps for meditation. There's apps for deep breathing exercises. There's apps for a lot of things, and they're free. I mean, you can also get the ones that you pay a subscription as well. It's up to you. I'm not recommending anything. I'm just saying in general, there's a lot of apps that can actually help you reach kind of like that balance, right, between the mind and the body. And so, but being mindful of yourself. So one of the things that I would recommend, you do is get to know yourself. Who are you? What gets you happy? What makes you sad? What gets you angry? How do you deal with adversity? Right? How do you interact with others? How do you let others support what you're doing? And so get to know you at a deeper level. So that way you're able to adapt, right? And if you adapt, then again, it goes back to another theory. And this is not a psychology theory. It goes back to the evolution theory. And I'm not saying about, very evolution. It's about evolving as a human being. Is starting with the basics, right? Going back on basics. And then adapting as you go. Adapting. Remember, I did a video on bucket list, which means goal setting from now until you pass. And so having a bucket list with the goals that you want to achieve is great because they're written, you know where they're at. You can always revise them. You can always go look at them. But at the same time, you can remind yourself, okay, I told myself on this day that I wanted to complete this task or this bucket list item. And so again, be mindful that the mind and the body are symbiotic. They interact, right? We're interacting right now in different ways, and so you have to embrace that importance because there has to be a balance between the physical and the mental, and so make sure that you're finding things that work for you, for yourself. Like for me, again, instrumental music. When I'm writing, it just gets me going. I love music when I'm driving as well because it just brings out these mental pictures and then my body's has like chemical reactions and like, oh, this is great. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel sad. It makes you feel down, or it makes you think of something or an event or a person. And then it's like, wow, I would have never thought or heard or done this without the help from like music or meditation, deep breathing exercises. And so again, the mind and the body is very important. And it all started with my grandfather because he's the one who really solidified the fact that you go out and work the body, crops, walking, swimming, whatever. But then at the same time, you're always developing your mental capacity, right? How you think, how you adapt, how you deal with adversity. And so again, for me, it's an important topic. So I wanted to share it with you. If you have a topic, you can always put it in the comment section below. Facebook, you can message me or Instagram. But in the meantime, subscribe to my Back on Basics channel. Hit the notification button. Hit the like button as well, so that way and the notification button will help you notify you of any new videos that are coming up. And so until next time, Back on Basics. See you next time.